United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a deep appreciation for culture, while probably strongest when it came to opera, which she famously enjoyed with Antonin Scalia. Her passion extended to culture. Is that me? I apologize. That could be part of the reason she agreed to participate in the Statues for Equality, of which we are direct beneficiaries this morning. Good morning. My name is Chris Conlon. I'm Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer of Acadia Realty Trust. We are a partner in the development which you are here enjoying this morning called CityPoint. When we learned about Gillie and Marc's Statues for Equality initiative, we were 100% supportive. The paintings hanging across the way are studies of the original 10 sculptures. Those sculptures, which were unveiled in August of 2019 in New York City, increased the representation of women in public sculpture from 3% to 10%. It's a remarkable achievement by the artists, who wish they could be here today, but due to COVID, they couldn't travel from Australia. When Gillie and Marc came to us about the Justice Ginsburg statue, we leapt at the opportunity because of our support for the project's mission and her strong connection to Brooklyn. Justice Ginsburg famously introduced herself at the Senate confirmation hearing in 1993 as a Brooklynite born and bred. So many of us, born here or not, share her love for Brooklyn, and we knew we had to bring the statue here to the borough of her birth. This great moment is our way to celebrate her pride and legacy with Brooklyn and the world. A guiding light for generations, RBG paved the way, or as she described it, was a path marker for female judges, lawyers, and elected officials. To that end, it is my pleasure to introduce another great daughter of Brooklyn and a formidable female leader. She was the first Haitian American woman elected to New York City, the first engineer elected to the New York State Legislature, and the first woman to chair the majority county party in Brooklyn. Please join me in welcoming Assembly Member and State Committee District Leader for New York's 42nd Assembly, Rodneyce Bishat Herlman.
Thank you, Chris, for the warm introduction. Good morning. My name is Assemblymember Rodneyce Bishat Herlman. I represent the 42nd Assembly District right here in Brooklyn, which includes Flatbush, East Flatbush, Midwood, and Ditmas Park. I am also, as you heard, the chair of the Democratic Party of Brooklyn. It is great to see so many familiar faces here celebrating the life and legacy of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg today. During Women's History Month, as you heard, we have Chris Conlon from CityPoint, Christina Newman-Scott, president of BRIC, and poet Mahogany Brown. I want to thank Judge Adam Perlmutter, a leading legal mind in our criminal court, for inviting me. And also I want to acknowledge all the judges who are here with us today. I also want to acknowledge my colleague, Assemblywoman Joanne Simon, who is here with us. And also here today is Brooklyn's Chief Executive, Eric Adams. Long before Eric was campaigning for city's highest office, he was championing to honor Justice Ginsburg's legacy. Eric has dignified Justice Ginsburg by renaming the municipal building after her so that all of Brooklyn will admire and remember her and learn more about who she was and what she stood for. I also must acknowledge one of our nation's most remarkable legal minds, New York Attorney General Letitia James, who could not be here with us today as she's doing the work of the people of the state of New York. I hope Gillie and Marc are taking notes because one day we are going to need a statue commissioned for our Attorney General too. I am humbled and honored to ring in the joyous occasion of the unveiling of the statue of the late Ginsburg in such wonderful company. The occasion is timely. In fact, it is actually long overdue. I was shocked when I read that this project increased the city's representation of women in public sculpture from 3% to 10%. This statute is the only city's seventh depicting a real woman. Let's face it, women are underrepresented in the cultural landscape of our city. And it's about time we change that. The unveiling of this project is most timely, however, because Monday would have been the notorious RBG's birthday. Justice Ginsburg would have been 88 years old this year. This is a fitting location. As we all know, Justice Ginsburg was born and raised in Brooklyn, just outside of Flatbush Avenue, a big corridor that runs right to the door of the district office. CityPoint is accessible to Brooklynites from all walks of life and socioeconomic backgrounds. That is key because Justice Ginsburg is a product of this borough, and we are so proud of that. She lived in Midwood and attended James Madison High School, then received her bachelor's degree from Cornell University and her law degree from Columbia Law School. I am also in law school right now. But when Justice Ginsburg went to law school, it was a different era, when very few women did. She was one of the only 9 female students in her class while studying at Harvard University. She went on to become one of the greatest advocates for gender equality of all time. Ginsburg co-founded the Women's Rights Project of American Civil Liberties Union. There, it became her mission to eradicate gender discrimination in the United States. At the ACLU, Ginsburg played a role in 34 Supreme Court cases and won 5 of the 6 cases she argued before the court. She often successfully argued sex discrimination cases on behalf of men, which yielded favorable results during a time period where many people didn't believe gender-based discrimination even existed. In one such case, she represented Stephen Weisenfeld, who didn't qualify for Social Security survivors benefits because he was a man. I studied this in class. Ginsburg won that case, and it was determined that Social Security Act unfairly discriminated on the basis of sex. We have RBG to thank for many of the freedoms we enjoy today. After her time at the ACLU, Ginsburg was appointed to the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit in 1980, and President Bill Clinton then nominated her as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. She took her seat on the court in 1933. She was the only second woman to join the United States Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg played an absolutely essential role in establishing modern law on equal protection as it relates to equality between the sexes. She is a role model to me and to everyone, everywhere. Her work is not over. We must continue championing women's rights. Gender bias is still alive and well, even in our progressive city. We must carry Justice Ginsburg's torch of justice. We have to ensure that women have equal economic opportunities, educational equity, and access to health care. I want to end gender-based violence, close the gender pay gap, and make sure that New Yorkers have access to child care when they need it. Justice Ginsburg's force on the bench is sorely missed, but her legacy will live on. Now, I want to invite Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams to join me at the podium to remove the drape so we all can enjoy the work of Gillie and Marc for the first time.
County leader, as you make history on your own, and it is extremely significant that we talk about in just my few moments. I want to lean into what the county leader stated. We do a disservice to the legacy of this great Supreme Court justice by merely believing she impacted the lives of women only. In fact, she impacted the lives of Americans. And to just relegate the laws that she passed, the arguments that she held in court, just to be gender specific, really falls short on focusing on what she has accomplished. My mother, who raised 6 children, needed the laws that were passed to help her 4 boys one day become borough presidents, sergeants in the police departments, captains in the police department, and other professionals. So RGB was clearly a symbol of what's great about this country and how when we are inclusive, we can stop the level of exclusiveness that is pervasive throughout this country. To see that this is just the 7th statue depicting a woman from history when women have played such a major role in this city, that is something that is unacceptable, and we're going to continue to roll out more and more statues throughout this entire city. But I want to be clear, CityPoint, you got the point. You understood why it's important that people walk through here to shop, to interact. As this borough continues to evolve and grow, that we want young girls and boys to walk through these doors and ask their parents, who is this woman? What does she represent? When you have streets named after people, when you have statues named after people, it fosters a conversation that we must have. And then we must also look through the city and see what names and statues should be removed. We have to be honest about the conversations, about having a new thought process in this city. And I want to thank the artists, Gillie and Marc. They did an amazing job and their image of our great Supreme Court justice. We have so far to go and so much to do, but I feel confident that when we look at the 27 years that this great justice sat on the nation's highest court, and being only the 2nd woman to be appointed, issuing such important positions, it's clear that a lifetime does not end when you transition from the physical to the spiritual. It continues. And her legacy around LGBTQ rights, women's rights, rights of individuals in the workforce, rights throughout this entire city, it continues even after we're no longer with us. Civil rights icon, real leader in this city, in this country, and I am just proud to be here today because she comes from the borough of Brooklyn. You know, there's something about a Brooklyn pride and a Brooklyn stride, and she kept that Brooklyn pride and stride as she sat on the bench, and she made it clear right out of Midwood that she was happy to be a Brooklynite. So on behalf of all of the people of Brooklyn, 2.6 million people, the 3rd largest city in America, we want to give a key to the city. My staff, okay, there you go. We want to give this key to the city, to CityPoint, one Brooklyn key to the borough, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, respected daughter of Brooklyn, legal path marker, pioneer for gender equality, and believer in the promise of our country, Eric Adams, Brooklyn Borough President. Congratulations, both the key and the proclamation. Thank you so much for doing this.
You can't shake. We always tell you, you can't shake.
Let me put on my mask so you don't write about me.
Thank you.
Ruth down in front. Thank you.
Thank you. What an honor. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's my pleasure to introduce Joanne Simon, who's going to say a few words. Joanne?
Thank you, CityPoint, and Christina from Brick. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Borough President.
He does it all.
You know, we worked. I'll take that up. We all work together in government, right? So I want to thank the Supreme Court and Statutes for Equity and CityPoint, as I mentioned. I'm Assemblymember Joanne Simon. Welcome to the 52nd Assembly District, where we are blessed to have so many wonderful institutions, and now we are blessed to have CityPoint and this wonderful statue of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm going to just say a few words. You know, I met Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg twice, once when I was teaching law at Hofstra Law School, and she came to speak to the women students, and we were all very, very taken by her and her presence and her poise and her directness. And I met her the last time when I was sworn into the Supreme Court in the late 1990s. It's important, as Assemblymember Rodney Bichot mentioned, that before she was on the Supreme Court, she had a very illustrious career. I won't repeat myself, but I do want to say a few things. In this time when we now finally have a woman vice president, a woman vice president in the United States, how important it is for those role models, how important it is that we have women in senior leadership positions throughout our society, including law, including politics, because not only does it give hope and a model for young girls and women, but it also gives a role model to young boys. We will raise boys to frankly behave better when they understand women's roles in society can be absolutely anything they want to be. And so this is for the benefit of everybody. And I'm just so delighted that we're here. And I would just say, before Ruth Bader Ginsburg's important legal work, a woman could not get a mortgage without a male cosigner. You couldn't get a checking account without a male cosigner. You couldn't start a business without a male cosigner, or get a credit card, or obtain a business loan, or get a job without gender-based discrimination. You couldn't sell your own property without your husband's permission. You couldn't get pension benefits equal to male coworkers, and you could be given unequal consideration to be the executor of your own child's estate. Women could have been forced to provide proof of sterilization in order to obtain or retain employment because, you know, women might get pregnant. Her work changed all that. It changed it for us. It changed it for our daughters. It changed it for our sons. I am so delighted to be here with you today, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I want to just mention that I was not accepting that key or that proclamation. That was accepted on behalf of the Ginsburg family, and we'll make sure it gets to where it belongs. So thank you very much. So since we are speaking of Brooklyn, the arts, and celebrating strong women today, it's my pleasure to introduce a woman responsible for so much culture here in Brooklyn, Christina Newman-Scott, president of Brick Arts Media. Christina?
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you all. It's truly a privilege. You know, in Jamaica we have a saying, "You little but you talawa," which means you're small but mighty. And this is just such a wonderful moment during Women's History Month. So thank you for including Brick. I have the great privilege of introducing a phenomenal voice in our country, Mahogany L. Brown. She is a writer, an organizer, and educator. She's the executive director of Bowery Poetry Club and artistic director of Urban World NYC and poetry coordinator at St. Francis College. Brown has received fellowships from Agnes Gunn, Air Serenbe, Cave Canem, Poets House, Mellon Research, and Rauschenberg. She is the author of most recent works, Chlorine Sky, Woke, A Young Poet's Call to Justice, Woke Baby, and Black Girl Magic. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, so please join me in welcoming poet, author, and activist Mahogany L. Brown.
Thank you so much, Christina. Good morning, Brooklyn. The name of this poem is The Sky Already Knows Your Name. And it begins with an epigraph from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Ginsburg. The state controlling a woman would mean denying her full autonomy and full equality. The Senate is sleeping, and somewhere near, a woman who sits safely at home with her own thoughts rests. In her own bones are the decisions of her dreams. Soil, fertile, evolution, divine decisions, equal in the power of her tongue. She be riot ready, her ideas grow, and the universe is proud. 2, there are too many policies to police a woman's purpose. Enough, enough, enough. There aren't enough ballot boxes. There aren't enough feminists. There aren't enough womenists. There aren't enough executive rooms with women at the helm. There aren't enough safe spaces. There aren't enough rehabilitation centers. There aren't enough social workers. There aren't enough. 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 There aren't enough premonitions believed. There aren't enough freedom fighters released. There aren't enough justice workers regarded. Enough. It is time. 3, dear firefly, dear snowfall, flurry, fright, dear sunbeam, splinter, dear glass bottle, shatter, strike, there is no vote mighty enough to silence you, woman. The sky already knows your name. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahogany, and thank you, Radnice, for your inspiring words. Thank you, Joanne. What a wonderful way to close this special occasion. Likewise, tremendous thank you to our Borough President, to Radnice Bichat-Earlman, to Christina Newman-Scott, I apologize, for being a part of this celebration. In closing, the artist designed this statue to be symbolic. The 2 steps represent the Supreme Court, and the climb Justice Ginsburg had to make to get there. The statue's large base provides an opportunity to stand at her side and gain inspiration from her journey fighting for equal rights. So we welcome all of you to stand with Ruth. Stand as she stood with us. Thank you again for joining us here at CityPoint this morning. Thanks all.